case that physical sales diminishing, and we're all expecting sort of a la carte digital and subscription services to be the saviour? Do you think that these services will help resurrect the industry as we know it?
I think what's happened with the transfer to digital is that the allowing people to cherry pick tracks has really changed the dynamic in which people consume music, and from a permanent download viewpoint, I think it's the case that people no longer need to actually consume the whole album.
Yeah.
So I think people are much more aware of looking at the quality of an artist and the quality of a product and being able to find the tracks that they want rather than needing to understand the whole catalogue when purchasing music.
Right. Do you think we're still sort of trying to find the right model that works for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think anybody's found that yet. I think one of the problems with a la carte downloads and why it hasn't become a saviour of the industry is that actually shopping for music online is pretty damn boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
Most of the stores, not mentioning one in particular, they haven't innovated, and it's been a boring experience, and no one wants to shop for a creative product like music in the same way as they shop for their food at the supermarket. Sort of cold, sterile experience that's not linked to anything else. I mean, they're sort of playing catch up now, but I think over the past sort of 5 or 6 years, it's been that sort of very cold experience. You go to a store, you buy your music, and you disappear. So you get the same old sort of chart stuff pushed at you. And I think if we're really going to regenerate that kind of a la carte download sales model, then it has to be made fun, it has to be made engaging, and it has to be connected to the real world around you, it has to be connected to your friends' recommendations, it has to be part of a social network, and unless that happens, that's not going to take off.
I guess with your model it's about incentivising people to spread the word about music that they like, and then they get a kickback.
Yeah, the idea is that you introduce more music to more people through your own friend networks, because a creative product like music, ultimately it's a friend's recommendation. It's someone raving about a band or a new track that actually really triggers interest, and to try and capture that and put it into a digital format, and then allow people to buy really easily and simply as part of that process, But again, that's a battle because the traditional sort of a la carte business models in the music industry don't work in the same way as the streaming services. It's very difficult to actually combine the two. It's a new kind of business model, because people, if they've got a friend's recommendation that they've never heard before, need to hear it if they're going to buy it. So again, it's sort of changing the model slightly. Yeah.
I guess added to that is, look in the bigger picture. Does anybody here think that recorded music is still a valid revenue stream for any emerging artists, or should artists and record labels be looking in a wider field? Colin?
I think record labels are starting to sign a lot more artists to the 360 deals, so they're not just taking part of or taking the recording rights. They're starting to kind of look at the live rights as well, the touring, the gigs, the merchandise, or the kind of ancillary rights as well. So I know several of the majors will only sign new bands on that basis now, which is a kind of you could say it's a sensible move on their part. I think just going back to the first point about the decline in physical and the fact that digital isn't quite making up the gap at the moment, and what is the answer? I don't think there's going to be one single kind of answer, one kind of single catch-all model that's going to come along and say solve all our problems like physical did in the old days. There'll be a variety of different ways, or there is a variety of different ways of consuming music in the digital age. You've got your iTunes model, you've got your V7s and your Spotify's where it's about music streaming, and you've got your subscription models. So there's no kind of one answer to all our problems. It's a kind of variety of models that will kind of contribute to the digital revenues, increasing for artists, record labels, content providers.
Cool. To me, sort of record labels are now, apart from the diversification into merchandising deals, 360 deals, I just see them as almost as a marketing company these days. Anybody, would you agree with that?
I think they've still definitely got a role to play. I think that role is different to the one they played before. I mean, you know, nowadays an artist can completely bypass that major label route.
Yeah.
Go online, build a fan base, build a following, do their own gigs, can release their own records, and that is possible for them to do. You know, I think for a certain type of artist, the major label system will always be there for them, and you know, they are great. If you want to call them a marketing company, they are a great marketing company, because they do sell a lot of records, and that is what they're skilled in. So, you know, a few years ago, people were saying that, you know, record labels were going to disappear and major record labels were going to disappear and become no more. That hasn't happened because, you know, labels have kind of changed and shifted and kind of adopted new ways of working, new business practices, and to kind of meet the changing demands of the marketplace today. So I think, you know, there is definitely still a role for record labels, but it's a change one.
Yeah.